What is up, guys? Wanted to give some quick thoughts on the new Heaven's Feel Part 2 movie. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, that movie was amazing. 10 out of 10, would see it again. 2020 couldn't come any sooner. So at long last, we finally got to see some interactions between Shiro and Ilya, which of course was adorable. Love the way that her face changed when she went up to hug Shiro. Things like this remind me of Full Metal Alchemist and how it was the definitive blend of being serious but also being super laid back at the same time. Enjoyed the fact that Medusa was able to get some light using her mystic eyes, dropping that blood for a temple on them at the school. You ain't going nowhere. Now, there were some scenes that kind of felt like they overstayed their welcome. Seeing Salter go in against Herc was great, especially coming out of the Shinjuku chapter, but I was hoping that the fight would have been a little shorter so we can get some more conversation for Zoken. If not that, then include some more scenes later on in the movie. And something else that happened later on in the forest, I don't know if anybody saw it because you'd probably miss it unless you were really paying attention, but when Shiro saved Ilya and then Archer saved them both, dude just throws Shiro on the ground like he's trash, and he softly places Ilya on her feet like she's just the most precious thing ever. Yo, that shit was hilarious to me for some reason. And she is, man, she is. Until you get a bad ending at least. So yeah, the pacing in the movie for the most part was really good. Now, when we put pacing aside, the segues in the movie were brilliant. When Shiro was at Ren's house and he noticed that Ren was wearing Sakura's ribbons in that picture, then it immediately switches to Sakura. You have the imaginary scene with Sakura and the way it switched off to the alley with Gil, and the way Shiro asked about Kirisugu and made Ilyasville storm off, putting a complete halt to their conversation. A halt that also felt extremely natural and made Ilya seem a lot more like an actual person in comparison to the psycho killer Loli that people saw in part 1. Couple those things with the interactions between Ren and Sakura, and you can see that the directors were really trying to make these characters a lot more humane than they were originally depicted. They even went as far as incorporating Taiga into the story more, and also having Ilya hear just what Kirisugu had to go through to try to get her back. Cause we just talked about this on the channel, and if I'm not mistaken, she never found out what happened. So I thought that was a pretty cool redirection on their part. Even if it was only for the movie, Ilya was able to get a little bit of consolation that she would have never gotten otherwise. Then you have the part where Sakura was standing in the mirror with this psycho ass look on her face. Then she looked again and it was gone. Really surprised that they put this in. It's little things like that that make all the difference. Cause I remember Sakura running into the wall being a real big deal for me in the novel. That's not some shit that you normally do. But in the movie, it was something that was kind of glossed over. You know, some people might bump into a table, other people might rub against a counter if you're in a rush. Bitch, you just ran face first into a wall. Do you want to talk about this? We're not about to just go past that like it didn't just happen. So again, really glad that they made the mirror scene more of an actual moment to drive the point home of the shadow's effects on Sakura's mind. The imaginary scene and the train scene specifically really gave me Evangelion vibes. Absolutely loved it. The train scene where they were sending Sakura away and they had her like isolated yet also running away from the worms, thought that was a nice touch. And then for the imaginary scene, go. I'm glad they were willing to be more daring with their art, cause that's definitely not something that they would normally do. And the whole time I was watching it, I was sitting there thinking, there's some heavy symbolism going on right now, but I'm not exactly sure what that is. And then she ate the candy. I was like, oh no. Then the scene switched. I'm like, no, y'all didn't. That transition was cold. Then we pull up on Gil. This man falls over and casually look back at his own missing leg. You dare try to make me kneel? Yo, that shit gave me Tokyomi flashbacks. You dare try to make me use air? On that? The audacity. I thought they was gonna make my boy go out like a bitch, but he kept it G all the way to the end. I respect it. The whole alley scene was God body. Then you have Shinji's death. Shinji's death for me was eerie in a way because it happened so fast. It wasn't even necessarily dramatic. It was just like, oh, you want him gone? Your wish is my command. Then the little monster started salsa dancing on his back. I'm like, bro, I can't take y'all serious. And it's not like he didn't deserve it. Look, people gotta understand. I like Shinji because he's a good bad character. And let me tell you how I know this is facts. People hate Shinji more than they love their actual favorites. Again, Shinji can evoke more emotion out of you than your favorite characters. That's how you know he's a good character. And I said the same thing at the theater. No rebuttal. Because they know it's true. Dude in the back was like, yeah, I mean, you kind of got a point. You damn right I got a point. The romance was good. I'm not even into romance, and I'm here to tell you that the romance was good. On all fronts, especially the parts in the rain. You got Sakura on the ground playing with her pussy, sucking on blood, busting out her dress. I'm like, this a real life porno. And although the sex scenes didn't actually show anything, it made me appreciate the fact that they decided to do movies instead. Because let's be real, if they didn't do movies, it would have been another 10 episodes of, oh no, we shouldn't, it's too early. My mind is telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. No, my boy Shiro wasted zero time. Sakura wanted them cheeks to be clapped, and the clapping was delivered. My guy, that movie was so good, bro. I'm just now realizing how much actually happened. And it's crazy because it only gets better. So for part 3, I noticed that they kept some of the Kirei scenes, noticed that they cut some out. I'm assuming that they're gonna gradually place those in as he becomes more involved with the story. So I'm not gonna bicker about that too much yet. Now, a lot of Ilya scenes did get the axe, which is unfortunate to say the least. But again, she ends up becoming such an essential part of the last film that if you don't get how important she is by that point, there's literally no hope. So I think I can live with that. And last but not least, Archer's arm. Kinda wish they didn't skip over the parts of Shiro obtaining this arm. Not only that, but even though he just got the arm, by this time in the story, he was already starting to suffer the consequences of having that surgery. Very important stuff. I'm hoping that they really hammer that down at the beginning of part 3 so people don't end up getting the wrong idea. Visual novel elitists are gonna nitpick this to death. They did it with the first film, they're gonna do it with the last film. Oh my god, they moved the flower pot in the background over 2 centimeters, And I know they only do it because they love the series, but come on, man. Be realistic. You converting 60 hours of text into 2-hour films. Something's gotta give. But yeah, fantastic movie. Let me know what you guys think. Can't wait for part 3. It's your boy Tsiah. I'm out.